Almost retired, almost robbed. Hello and welcome back to ABC English Story. Today we have a story about a woman who worked hard her whole life, only to face a terrible challenge just before her retirement. It's a story about courage, honesty, and fighting for what's right. Let's listen to Sarah's story. How long have you been with us, Sarah? 29 years? Robert Evans, my new director, leaned back in his big leather chair. His voice sounded friendly, but something felt wrong. Yes, sir. 29 years and 362 days, I replied. My stomach felt tight. I saw a folder with my name on his desk. In all my years working at TechCorp Solutions, I had never been called to a director's office on a Friday afternoon like this. My name is Sarah Miller. I'm 61 years old. Until about 5 minutes ago, I was the senior compliance officer here. Compliance means making sure the company follows all the rules and laws. I worked at TechCorp, a large company in our city, for almost 30 years. My job was to check everything, find problems, and make sure we fixed them correctly, even when others wanted easy answers. My pension, the money a company pays you when you retire after many years, was going to be fully ready on Monday. Just 3 days away. It was the moment I had worked for my entire adult life. It was so close. Mr. Evans pushed the folder across his desk towards me. Sarah, because of budget cuts, we have to let you go, he said. He didn't look at me. It's effective immediately. The room felt like it was spinning. Budget cuts? TechCorp had just reported making more money than ever before. This is your severance package, he continued, pointing to the folder. Severance is money a company sometimes gives you when you lose your job. Sign it by tomorrow, or you get nothing. HR will take you to your desk to collect your things. I should have been angry. I should have been shocked. Maybe I should have begged him to let me stay just 3 more days. But instead, I felt strangely calm. This wasn't random. This was planned. They were firing me right before I could get my pension. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Evans, I said quietly. I picked up the folder but didn't open it. He looked surprised that I was so calm. Maybe he expected tears or shouting. But I had spent my career looking for patterns, for things that didn't fit. And this situation was very clear. I stood up, straightened my skirt, and walked out with my head held high. Janet from the Human Resources Department waited for me. She looked very uncomfortable as I packed my few personal things into a small box, a photo of my dear husband Thomas, who passed away years ago, a small plant my daughter Emily gave me when she went to college, and an award I received for 25 years of work. I'm so sorry, Sarah, Janet whispered. She looked nervously at the security guard waiting to walk me out. This isn't right. It is what it is, I replied softly. But inside, I knew this wasn't just wrong. It was probably illegal. For the past 4 years, I had been carefully writing down financial problems I saw at the company. These problems got worse after Mr. Evans arrived 6 months ago. I sent reports to my bosses about strange numbers and backdated documents, papers that were changed to look older than they were. But my reports were ignored. I was told to focus on other things. As I walked out of the building for the last time, the security guard held the door. Have a good weekend, Mrs. Miller, he said. He sounded uncomfortable, too. Thank you, I said politely. I believe I will. The drive home felt strange. Almost 30 years of my life ended with a folder in a small box. Rain tapped on my car window. I drove through the familiar streets of my city, towards the small house I'd lived in since Thomas died 12 years ago. I thought about all the times I worked late, missed family events, and spent evenings reading boring documents for TechCorp. I gave them my best years because I believed my pension would give me security in my old age. When I got home, I sat in my car for a moment. I let myself feel sad and angry. Mr. Evans had a reputation for streamlining, which usually meant firing people. I knew we would have problems because I recently refused to approve one of his new plans that broke several rules. but I didn't expect him to fire me so quickly, so cruelly, just to stop me. Inside, I made tea and finally opened the severance package. It was insulting. They offered me only 3 months' salary. In return, I had to sign a paper promising I would never complain or sue the company about anything. No pension, no health insurance, just a little money and a legal trap to keep me quiet. I had to sign by 5 p.m. the next day. They hoped I would be scared and desperate enough to sign quickly without asking anyone for advice. But I knew better. This wasn't normal. They wanted to rob me of my pension. I put the papers down and went to my small home office. Behind some photo albums, I had a locked, fireproof box. It was my insurance policy. For 4 years, I had been secretly bringing home copies of important company documents, emails, reports, notes about conversations. I did it because my experience told me something was seriously wrong at TechCorp. I opened the box. Inside was evidence of fraud, cheating with money. There were reports with fake numbers, emails telling staff to change dates on safety certificates, and more. Over 1,000 pages showing serious problems that got worse under Mr. Evans. I had reported these things through the correct channels, but I was ignored. I picked up my phone and found a number I hadn't called in years, James Peterson. He used to be the chief financial officer at TechCorp before he left to work for a government agency that watches big companies, the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. James always respected my careful work. It's time, I thought, and I called him. I spoke with James for almost 2 hours that evening. He listened carefully as I explained everything. The firing, the pension, the documents I had saved. Sarah, he said seriously, this isn't just unfair firing. Based on your documents, TechCorp could be in big trouble for breaking financial laws. Firing you right before your pension is just the start. He told me about rules that protect whistleblowers, people who report illegal actions inside a company. He arranged a meeting for me with his team at the SEC on Monday morning. Most importantly, he warned, do not sign that severance paper. Keep your documents safe. On Saturday morning, I woke up feeling determined. I spent the day making copies of all my documents, organizing everything carefully. The work helped keep my mind busy. My phone rang several times. Janet from HR, Mr. Evans, even the company lawyer. They left urgent messages, wanting me to sign the papers. Their panic proved I was right. They were scared. At 4:30 p.m., my doorbell rang. It was Mr. Evans, standing on my porch in his expensive suit. I didn't answer the door. Sarah, I know you're there, he called out. Just sign the papers. After a few minutes, he left an envelope in my mailbox and drove away in his fancy car. It was another copy of the severance agreement, with a note. Final chance, signed by 9 a.m. Monday. That evening, my daughter Emily called. Mom, what's wrong? She asked. You sound strange. I told her the truth. She was angry and wanted to fly home immediately. No, sweetie, I said. Don't worry, I'm handling it. I've got this. On Monday morning, I felt ready. I dressed in my best suit, put my important documents in a secure bag, and drove to the federal building for my meeting with the SEC. James met me and introduced me to 2 investigators. For 3 hours, I showed them everything. The fake financial reports, the backdated safety certificates, the emails. They listened carefully and looked at the documents. These numbers are seriously wrong, one investigator said. It looks like the company has been lying about its profits for years. That's fraud. And you reported this inside the company? The other investigator asked. Yes, many times, I confirmed, showing them my old reports and emails. Each time, I was ignored or told I was wrong. When Mr. Evans arrived, my reports just disappeared. They told me they would start an official investigation immediately. I wasn't even home yet when my phone rang. It was Janet from HR, her voice shaking. Sarah, something is happening. The board is having an emergency meeting. Mr. Evans is locked in his office. People are saying SEC investigators called our lawyers. It had started, faster than I expected. "I'm not surprised, Janet," I said calmly. "Sarah, did you report something?" she asked nervously. "I just did what I should have done years ago," I replied. An hour later, the chairman of the board, Mr. Harrison, called me. He sounded very worried. "Miss Miller," he said, "we seem to have a situation. Could you come to the office tomorrow to discuss it?" "I'm afraid not, Mr. Harrison," I replied calmly. "Any discussion now should include my lawyer and maybe people from the SEC." There was a long silence on the phone. "I see," he finally said. The next few days were a storm. News headlines screamed about an SEC investigation at TechCorp. The company's stock price fell quickly. The company sent me a letter saying my firing was canceled, and I was on paid leave with full benefits. It was too little, too late. My lawyer and I had a meeting with the board. Mr. Evans wasn't there. Mr. Harrison and the others tried to act like they knew nothing about the problems. They offered me my job back, my full pension, and extra money. My lawyer reminded them that they had ignored my warnings for years. I looked directly at Mr. Harrison. "I reported these problems many times over the years," I said clearly. "I asked for meetings. I sent memos. When did you ever support me then?" The room was silent. "I will cooperate with the investigation," I continued. "I will tell the truth. Whether the truth helps or hurts TechCorp depends on your actions, not your words today." Sarah stood her ground. She refused to be silenced. Let's hear how her story ends. The investigation moved quickly. It turned out the fraud was even bigger and older than I thought, starting long before Mr. Evans arrived. Several top executives and board members were involved. Mr. Evans tried to blame me in the news, saying I was angry and lied. But the evidence was too strong. The SEC investigation led to big changes at TechCorp. Mr. Evans was fired and later faced criminal charges, along with 2 board members. They eventually admitted they were guilty in court. 4 board members resigned, including Mr. Harrison. The company, now under new leadership, apologized to me formally. They paid me my full pension, plus a large settlement package as compensation for everything I went through. Because I was a whistleblower who helped the government uncover the fraud, the SEC also gave me a significant financial reward. I had more money than I ever expected. I decided not to go back to work at TechCorp, even as a consultant. Instead, I used some of the money to start a scholarship fund to help young women who want to work in business ethics. I named it after my late husband, Thomas. My daughter Emily moved closer with my grandchildren, and we spent lots of time together. One evening, Emily asked me, "Mom, do you regret working at TechCorp for so long after how they treated you?" I thought about it. "No," I said finally. "I don't regret the work I did. Being honest isn't just for easy times. It's about sticking to what's right, even when it's hard, even when it costs you something." Emily smiled. "You taught me that, Mom, by showing me, not just telling me." That, I realized, was the best outcome. Not the money, not proving them wrong, but knowing that my actions showed my daughter the importance of integrity. I didn't want revenge. I just did my job, told the truth, and finally, people had to listen. What a powerful story of resilience and integrity. Sarah Miller shows us that it's never too late to stand up for what's right, and that one person's courage can make a big difference. Thank you for joining us on ABC English Story. We hope to see you again next time.